Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Cinematic Trinity with me, Michael.
Me, Kieran.
And I'm Tulip.
So this is the podcast where we talk all things gaming, TV and films. And this year we're going to be taking... This year? Oh no. Fuck's sake.
We're doing a pod.
So today for our first episode, we're going to talk about 2022 and basically what our favourite TV show, movie and games were. And then if we get enough time, what the worst TV show, movie or games were. So starting off, let's go to Tulip.
So my favourite film of last year, 2022, was a film I went to see with my mum, which was Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Now, this is probably going to be a very boring film for the two of you to be watching.
I've watched it.
You haven't watched it?
I have watched it.
You have watched it? When
watched
did you
it.
watch it?
I watched it probably a couple of weeks after you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
There we go.
Kept that one quiet. Well, anyway, amazing film. Amazing film. Me and my mum were absolutely beside ourselves watching this film with all the lovely clothes in it. The basic story is, woman goes to Paris, she wants to buy this dress. It all kicks off. Doesn't quite work out the way she wants it to, but it's amazing. Feel-good film of the year. Feel-good film of my life. And it will now go on to one of my lists of films that I watch all the time as soon as I see it on the telly.
Well, I have to say your reaction certainly when you came home was probably the most excited I've ever seen you from watching a movie, like coming home and talking about it. So it must have had quite the impact.
It did. It did. So much so that we bought the DVD for my mama, who never watches films, but we bought her that for Christmas and she watched it and she said that she loved it as well because mama loves clothes and all that stuff. So.
Well, now we know the revelation that Kieran's actually seen it. What did you think about it?
It was a very good film. I wasn't expecting to necessarily enjoy it as such, but it was really good. As Tulip says, just feel good film. You know, it's not one of those ones that has like, you know, your big stakes or anything. It's just like kind of little people, and you know, it's more kind of more personal, I guess.
Yeah. It's not anything that you like, anything with a deep hidden meaning. It's all very surface level, but sometimes you need that, don't you? Just a bit of light-hearted whatnot.
Oh. Yeah. Well, let's move on to Kieran. What was your favourite film of 2022?
Oh, that's a very good question. Because I would say 2022 for me on the whole was more of a mediocre year for films.
Yeah, I
think I think you're right. It was a bit rubbish.
So my one that is my favourite film, but I feel like it's not necessarily the best film, it's just the one that kind of resonated most with me at the time that I watched it, was Elvis.
Oh, yeah.
And I did enjoy it because I didn't know much about Elvis before going into it. And I know that this is going to be a very cinematic version of his life. So it's not going to be what he necessarily was like kind of word for word. But I realised I hadn't actually listened to much of his songs before. And that kind of gave me a chance to go back and listen to them. And you can see why he was like top of his craft and stuff, and it's
that is true.
Just interesting, like because they're doing that now with like Elton John's and obviously Freddie Mercury with the Bohemian Rhapsody, those kind of films coming out. It's interesting to see just kind of their lives and how fucked up they are, really.
I think that is true. I think like as a sort of musical biopic, as you get like really standard ones. I think Bohemian Rhapsody I remember really liking the first time I watched it, but like Tulip hates it.
I do hate it.
But like follow-up watches, I think one you read into like the history of stuff as well, where it's a bit like that's not really what happened. Like I can't enjoy it as much.
I think the problem with it is you either tell an exact telling chronologically of what happened. Okay, they wrote this song in 1982 on the 5th of February, or you just do what they did in Rocket Man, which is another one of my favourite films.
Yeah.
And it's just his life in order, but the songs are just thrown in just wherever they sort of fit.
Yeah.
Like a musical. So, but I did find the same with Elvis, that I was a bit disappointed. But I think we did the opposite. We had the opposite. We still didn't know anything about Elvis, but particularly Michael, listened to one song and was like, this is the best song I've ever heard. I'm going to listen to this every single day, 10 times a day for a week. And then we're going to watch the film. And then it was almost like, oh, like it was just, you know.
Well, yeah, I think when we watch it, because the song was If I Can Dream, by the way, like, just so we point it out. But like, yeah, when it got up to that scene in the film where he does sing it, that was probably one of the best bits in the film.
We were just waiting for that the whole film, weren't we?
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, it was very like stylized as well. Like the director Baz Luhrmann like does, not that it was like a weird film, but like stylistically and like watching it, because I think before we watched the film, we watched like a 15-minute promo and we were watching it, and like the editing and stuff was so all over the place, and there was like so many visual like effects and stuff. We were just like, whoa, is this like the whole film? Is this what it's going to be like? And then we bought it on DVD and watched it. And I mean, I think, you know, it was all right. Like, is all I could say. It was an okay film. I liked, like, it was
a good film.
Yeah.
But I think that I was just expecting Rocket Man, but with Elvis, which isn't what it is.
Yeah, because I mean, the guy who played Elvis as well. That was like a really good performance as well. Like he was like the best part about the film, and like Tom Hanks, Austin Butler, yeah. Then Tom Hanks wasn't. Tom Hanks was pretty crap in it, to be fair. Like, which is weird because Tom Hanks doesn't really do bad movies, you know, but. I don't know.
Or bad acting.
No, that was probably the weirdest bit. Yeah, it was just the acting for him was a bit. I don't know if you thought the same, Kieran, just Tom Hanks.
Not really.
Let's not start crapping all over the film that Kieran's just
How
said.
dare you suggest that is your favourite?
It's obviously not the best movie in the world.
No.
In a year of kind of such mediocrity, I feel
it's a good standout.
It was kind of one of the standout ones for me, and
Yeah.
you know, there were other films that I thought were really good, but I feel like this one just came at the right time for me. At that time
in life.
No, which is fair enough.
Yeah. What about you, Michael?
Yes, for me. So I'm going to go with. I couldn't even believe it came out in 2022 because it just felt so long ago. It was the Batman. Yeah. So that was March in 2022, and
was it only March?
Yeah. We saw it with my friend Logan in the cinema. So
we did.
Yeah, it was good. Like, it was brilliant. Like, I really liked it. Like, I mean, I like Batman anyway. Like, he's one of my favorite comic book characters, and it was a good like. Sorry, the dog is just chewing her
ball very loudly.
So yeah, it was a good. Like, it just felt like something different compared to like the Marvel films. I mean, like Batman films usually are, like the Dark Knight trilogy and stuff is different to, you know, your Iron Mans and your Avengers. So the Batman just felt like a good, just something different. And I mean, I've been looking forward to it as well. It's probably one of the only films of the year which I was pretty sort of hyped to see and looking forward to actually seeing. So it was like good. And I mean, even though it's 3 hours, like I could. Like, as soon as we finished watching it, and it was the same when we bought it on DVD, like, as soon as that 3 hours is up, I was like, I could watch it again. Cause,
definitely.
Just, like, cinematography, acting, especially, like, you know, everyone in it was brilliant. Like, the Riddler was good, Batman was good. Probably not the best Bruce Wayne, like, ever, but, I mean, Robert Pattinson, like, you know, just absolutely smashed it with what he was doing there. Like, he was just really good, and when everyone didn't expect him to be.
I think that's the key, isn't it? Like, I didn't expect him to be anything. I mean, not that I don't like. I'm not one of these people that doesn't like Robert Pattinson. It's not that I don't like him, but I just thought, is he actually going to be? He seems too like clean cut to be Batman.
Yeah. I feel like he had an image that was very hard to get rid of after he did Twilight.
Yeah.
And you know, I think most people were kind of the mind where they're just like, Robert Pattinson as Batman, really?
Yeah.
But then I saw a film, Tenet, not like maybe a year, because it came out 2021, I think, or maybe 2020.
Was it 2020?
I don't even know. Yeah, I never saw that, but
But I watched that with him in it, and it completely altered my perception of him, because I was like, Jesus Christ, he actually can.
Yeah.
He's a really good actor. He's just been dealt a bad hand with his
Twilight films.
With his Twilight films.
Well, he's been dealt an excellent hand to get the fame and position. But...
Yeah, no, exactly. And I mean, from like what you hear and stuff, it does sound like he's made quite a good like comeback in terms of his acting. Like, he does more like mature films, and what he does do, like, it's always good, like his performance, isn't it? So I feel like Twilight has just had this massive, not stain on his career, but it's always there. Like, sort of, he's the guy from Twilight, he's the vampire, like sparkly vampire guy from Twilight. So this film's gonna be crap, you know. But But no, he really did a good job with it, and obviously Paul Dano as the Riddler was really good. I know he got memed on quite a bit, like on the internet, just because of his scenes and stuff. But it was really really good. So yeah, I would say definitely the Batman for my favourite film.
Oh, well done.
Very good.
Okay, so next, TV shows.
Yep.
So my TV show of the year, well, we had the same conversation that we did about films that we're going to about TV shows, where I can't remember what I watched.
Yeah.
I don't even think that there was a lot that came out this year, but the best one for me was House of the Dragon.
Yes.
Because after such a disappointing ending to Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon just felt like the early seasons of Game of Thrones again, where it's mainly just talking and not much else.
It's a lot more political rather than like the kind of the warring, which kind of didn't really work out in the end because they rushed it too much.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it was. The ending was rushed,
Yeah.
and I think that is the main problem with it. But this was everything that needs to happen and everything that they want to happen is going to happen.
Yeah,
and be talked about.
It's sort of what you're working off, really, because I think this is based off like another book that George R. R. Martin did about like Targaryen history. So they're sort of, rather than it being like a book series that hasn't finished yet, they have something to like work off, and like the whole show is basically going to be that like history basically. So I mean, like whilst it's going on, I was sort of reading into stuff that does happen in the books that will potentially come into the show, and it just like makes you more excited for what's going to happen, and it's like the story just gets more interesting as it will go on. So hopefully the show continues sort of with the good.
Yeah, I hope it just carries on with the way it's going at the moment, because I think it was really good. I remember being disappointed with the very last episode, although I can't for the life of me remember what actually happened. But the rest of it was very well. I feel like the last episode was just like, oh, you better wait until season 2.
Yeah, that one was very much,
that was the key thing.
Yeah, it was very much just set up for what's going to come in series 2, because basically it's like setting up. Basically, it's just setting up for the war that's going to come in series 2.
Absolutely, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing when it gets to. Well, I hope so.
I feel like the main issue that you guys took from the last episode was that it's setting up for season 2.
Yeah.
And the biggest issue is that we're going to have to wait for season 2.
Yes.
Because if season 2 was readily available, then you would go, that's a really good finale.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I can't
exactly,
wait to watch the next
But
one.
I feel like that is kind of the main gripe there, because obviously it's going to be like, what, it's going to a year and a half, 2 years?
Well, I don't.
Have they
Yeah.
started filming it or
I
not?
think they have, because I think they've announced it.
Right.
I would think probably 2024.
Yeah, I would have thought so, to be fair, for that type of. I mean, I think Game of Thrones was yearly actually when that came out.
Until the
Until
last
the-
season,
Yeah.
which was 2 years.
Yeah.
I suppose with like just budgets increase and like episode length increases, because I mean with that, like probably where Game of Thrones was like 40 minutes like an episode, that was like an hour and a half like episodes, so
Yeah, it was.
it's definitely like
Yeah.
bigger length and like bigger scale and stuff, because obviously it was House of the Dragon, so there were more dragons in it, so they really did fork out. They had to like fork out the budget for CGI dragons and stuff, so it definitely felt like bigger and better,
Yeah.
but with the same feel, as you say, of like original Game of Thrones, like early Game of Thrones, when it was just like politics and plotting and backstabbing and stuff like that.
Yeah, it really got back to it. And I just think personally it was just a nice watching experience. Like every Wednesday, Kieran was round, we'd watch Game of Thrones and have our tea. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was just nice to be able to do that, I think. And that's also what made it better, was being able to do that. So yeah, that was my favourite of the year. What about you, Kieran?
Well, mine again. I've only watched four TV shows this year. House of the Dragon is definitely, either my favourite or kind of like joint favourite,
Yeah.
I would say. But I really enjoyed Stranger Things.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah, God, I can't believe that came out either. That was like early, wasn't it? Was that early 2022?
Wasn't that when it was
I didn't
hot?
watch it until mid 22.
Oh yeah, I remember you. Yeah.
I watched it about halfway through the year. But yeah, I really enjoyed just kind of, the continuation of the new characters. Obviously, I love Steve.
Yeah.
Steve can do no wrong in my eyes.
Yeah.
He's the messiah, if you will. But I really loved Eddie as well. They brought in the new character, Eddie. He was really cool, and just I think there were bits of it that it definitely wasn't perfect, and they definitely have the issue now of the kids being not kids anymore.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? Because it wouldn't have been that way if it wasn't for COVID, or they might have been like just starting to get a bit. If they'd have just continued on, it would have been much better.
Yeah, that was definitely a show when it finished, because like it's such like a glaring, not like an issue, it's such a glaring thing of like these kids do not look, well, they're meant to be like 16, 15.
Yeah.
Whereas they're meant to be, because it's only like 3 years, I think it's meant to be.
What is it that they're filming at the moment? Is this Avatar, where they're filming it all at once with all the kids?
I don't know. I know they filmed, I think they're meant to have filmed Avatar 2 and 3 back to back.
But there's something where there's kids in a TV show and they're like, oh, we're filming it all at once because we don't want the Stranger Things effect.
Oh, I don't know. I can't remember hearing
I might
that.
have to Google
I'm not
that.
sure, yeah.
Maybe that's
get a fact check.
Yeah,
right? That's what we need. We need someone in the corner just like Googling
I'll get my
these things.
phone while you carry on talking.
Yeah, so, Stranger Things for me.
Yeah.
But what about you, Michael?
So yeah, to be fair, there was quite a few like good stuff in 2022. Like I really liked The Boys as well. Series 3 of that was like really good. I mean,
Oh my god, was that this year?
Yeah, I mean, I ended up watching the finale of it with like 3 different
About
sets
5
of,
different times, and I had to sit through all of them, even though I'm not even a big fan of that show.
Yeah, and what can I say? It was a good. I mean, that was clearly a good sign. It was good because I actually wanted to watch the finale multiple times. But I think, to be fair, just in terms of like pure surprise and like to be fair quality as well, because it was really good, I would say Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Because it was,
you might just have to explain a little bit about what that is.
Well, so Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared was basically a YouTube sort of series back, God knows how many years ago. Basically, it was a sort of rip on like your Sesame Streets and like kids programs where you learn stuff. So it's these couple of mascots, and basically as the episode went on, it got more and more surreal. I mean, these were like 5-minute videos back in the day, and there was about, I think, 6 of them they made. So that was, again, however many years ago. And then suddenly Channel 4, all 4, just started advertising this TV show based on Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, made by the same people, same characters and everything, but it was 6 like 30-minute long episodes. So it just like, from that point of view, it's just very good to see this small scale thing get like enough love and like attention and a budget, like a really good budget, to make it into something which like just quality wise was really good. I mean, like, the humour was really good. I liked all the characters. It made me laugh. And, like, wasn't just, like, juvenile humour or anything. It was just, like, pretty smart, like, commentaries on, like, stuff like jobs and, like, family. Like, those episodes in particular are, like, so good. Like, I could watch them again. Like, I could watch them every day. Like, they were just so funny and, like, good. But I don't know what you thought about it too, Lip?
Yeah, I did like it. The voice has grated on me a little bit. So I feel like when we kept putting it on, this same thing happened where we'd have one person over, not talking like we know a million people, it's literally just 2 other people. We'd have one person over and be like, oh, have you seen this? Let's watch it. And then the other person would come over, oh, have you seen this? Let's watch it. And then Michael's saying to me, oh, have you seen this? Let's watch it. So it's like, right, now I've watched it 3 times and I can't bear this duck's voice anymore. So that was the only thing for me, but it was really funny, like, and there's lots of things that we will say quote like each other, like quote now that are just they're going to be like standard things, I think, for the rest of our lives. I think so. That's
I feel like it's definitely a standout one because it's so unique as well. Like, there's not really much that's kind of doing something anything similar to it, or definitely not as well as they're doing it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I hope for more because it's really good quality.
Yeah,
and
I hope they do.
That's why. Yeah, that's why like Channel 4 is like a good place for it as well, because Channel 4 do like out of the box type of things. Yeah, especially because it's like, again, like a perfect network to like pick it up and be producing stuff with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. So check it out if you haven't seen it, and have a telly license if Channel 4 asks
you. Don't need a telly license for Channel 4.
We're sponsored by Channel 4.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you don't need telly. Yeah, no. That's true.
You could technically watch Channel 4 without telly license.
You just need to say yes at the thing, and then you've got a telly license, even if you don't.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Well, let's not encourage anybody to do
that. Don't pay your telly license, and if you want to watch BBC,
steal everything. Go to shops, steal, commit crimes.
Watch it on YouTube for free.
Yeah. I'm just going to start this gaming segment here to say that I'm going to dip out because gaming is not really my thing. I only know anything about games. I know more about games than I ever wished to know, purely through Michael.
Yeah.
So therefore, I don't have a favourite game of 2022 because I don't care.
It's the benefits of being engaged to me.
I don't think it's a benefit, but
Certainly, I don't know, an advantage. No, I was supposed to say an advantage, but it's not really.
That's not the opposite of benefit. That's
yeah, it's not really something you're going to ever
a
need.
disadvantage. I think you should be saying.
No, you love it. You love it.
A condition.
Yeah.
I could do. Yeah, the terms and agreements of our relationship is.
It's like in that episode of Friends where I'm not going to be able to explain this right, and you're not going to have any idea what I'm on about.
No.
But in Friends, Monica is saying, but I'm really organised, like you should love me because I'm really organised. And Chandler goes, no, I love you in spite of those things. And that's the same thing.
Well done.
There you go, take it away.
Wow. Gaming. Me and Michael. Gamers.
Professionals.
Professionals. True, fucking words.
I was going to say true crime.
True crime.
True gamers?
Aficionados.
Poets.
Purveyors of the art. I have played exactly 4.5 games this year. Maybe 4.25. My favourite game would probably be God of War Ragnarok, but I've only played about a quarter of it, so I feel like it would be wrong to say that is my favourite game. The rest of the games I have, yeah. I would put Elden Ring, but I feel like there were too many issues with it for me. I didn't necessarily enjoy it as much as I have the rest of the From Software games. So I'd probably say Nintendo Switch Sports.
Yeah.
If that is what it's called. Because it's, just goes back to the roots of Wii Sports, which is obviously an absolute classic. And they brought in some things. I never did the football in the Switch Sports, but the volleyball for sure was very enjoyable. Just getting back to the kind of classic roots of the Wii and
it's good, like nostalgia.
The kind of enjoyment that kind of had when we were younger and doing those things. So yeah, I'm glad that they kind of have started doing those kind of things again. So.
It's a good like attempt from like Nintendo to sort of take you back to that, but then also putting it on like newer consoles, so you can still do Wii Sports but on a Nintendo Switch. So without like porting it over and like it being the same game again, but they've actually managed to use it. But yeah, I guess I played a lot more games than Kieran. I made a list and it was like 40 something, maybe more.
Very ridiculously long list.
Thank you, Tulip.
Which is all he ever talks about, is this list of games that he needs to work through.
Yes, yeah, I did. Yeah, I've now listed them, so if I've got like a backlog, it's basically to try and get through, or if there's like a new game coming out, I basically have to put it on the list and then tick it off once I've played it. But yeah, I'm going to say my favourite game was God of War Ragnarok, so yeah, it's very... Kieran really needs to play it, because it is just like so good. Because I mean, we both played 2018's God of War.
We have.
Yes, so that's like, that's already like a really good game, and then Ragnarok just like took that and just expanded. In terms of like gameplay as well, like combat is just a lot better, like it's more fluid and stuff like that. Obviously the characters and everything are like the best bits. They were the best bits in like 2018's God of War. They're the best bits in like the new one as well. And like there were just so many story moments. I think Tulip could still appreciate God of War Ragnarok as well from like a story perspective.
I can. I do really like God of War as like, I'd love to just sit and watch it like as a film. Like I don't want them to make a film, although apparently they are.
Yeah, Amazon are doing something, yeah.
But, literally. But I can appreciate the story behind it.
Yeah.
And I think that is really good. But I don't need to see rowing a boat for 2 hours.
Oh, very true. But yeah, just in terms of like what, like your big AAA games can be as well, it's just like a good one. Like everything is on point. Like I say, acting's good, music's good, gameplay's good, just like an all-round... Combat. Really good, combat,
Yeah, it's nice to see a AAA game that delivers in more than just graphics.
Yeah,
because I feel like a lot of them nowadays do kind of have those kind of glaring issues and stuff where it's like, it looks really nice, but it's incredibly dull.
Yeah, I kind of had that with, because Horizon,
The
the second one of that came out last year. I mean, like, gameplay wise, that was really good, and like graphics, again, that was like one of the best looking games on PlayStation 5. But the problem is, like, the story was just so forgettable in that game. So it's sort of like, you know, and I spent like quite a lot of time playing that as well. That was like one of my highest played games in 2022. But yeah, it's just like the story was just I couldn't really tell you what happened like in the game, really. And like I wasn't a major fan of the first game either. Like, the story in that one was just a bit but again, the gameplay and like the fighting, like mechanical monsters and stuff, was probably the only draw of the game that, you know, kept me interested and made it like fun in a way. So it's still a good game, but like, again, as you say, it's like, it's sort of, it looks nice, but the story isn't like the best, you know. So it's sort of that other end of the spectrum where it could have been great, but it just needed a couple more bits.
Yeah, it could have been a lot better, I think.
Yeah.
Not that not that I care.
I know, yeah, you hated that, didn't you, Horizon?
Yeah, I really don't. I didn't. Never saw the appeal. It's literally just, yeah, it looks great, and I'd love to go there to that lovely place and and see all the metal dinosaurs and whatever.
Yep.
But apart from that, like, as you said, like, you couldn't explain to me what had actually happened apart from that. What's her name? Elizabeth?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. Liz what?
Elizabeth. It's like Elizabeth without the H.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth. What did I say?
Elizabeth.
So yeah, she's in it, and then Aloy is
That's
the main
the only
person.
other name I know. That's the only other name I know.
Yeah.
And I came out with that the other day, didn't I? We were having this conversation about what we were going to say, and I said, "Oh yeah," and Elizabeth, and you were like, "Oh, how did you know that? Do you remember?"
Yeah.
Yeah. See.
So you do take stuff in.
I'm listening.
Well, now we've gone through the best of the year. Now we've got a bit of time. We might as well talk about
Should we do token worst
token
from
worst
any character?
Any
Category. Any category.
I guess.
What's the worst thing you've played, watched, seen this year?
Well, it's hard to say. I don't think I've necessarily played like a bad game last year. I think in terms of what I have played, I think, again, what Kieran was sort of touching upon, I think Elden Ring we played and we sunk quite a lot of hours in. That was actually my most played game of last year. It was like just short of like 100 hours in Elden Ring. But
yeah,
it's like coming away from it, we played it. We couldn't do much co-op in it just because of how big the game was, which was a shame because we really wanted to like do it that way.
There is a thing with that, because me and Paul, someone else we know, have started. We bought it on PC. And there's a mod where you can do like continuous co-op.
Oh god, right.
And it makes the game so much better.
Yeah.
If they had included that on the PS5, I feel like
yeah,
everyone's enjoyment of it would have gone, especially the people that like the co-op side of the FromSoft games.
Yeah.
The enjoyment would have just gone through the roof, and it probably would have had a lot more replayability. But because every single boss that you do, you have to leave someone's world and then come back in. Every time you die, you have to do that, and you have to do that in other games as well. But I feel like this one, because it is so big, it really kind of emphasizes that. Yeah,
it's like this thing where it's such a big world, but like if I wanted to join your game, it walls off the rest. Like we can't explore everywhere together. It has to be, no, you're in this area, you do this boss, and then you go away. Like,
and you can't really explore the in between areas.
No.
Because two people can't get on. Torrent the horse at the same time. Yeah,
that was probably when it first came out. When I was like looking into multiplayer, that was the worst thing for me. Is that you both, when you were playing co-op, you couldn't use your horses to go around the map. You had to like run everywhere. And again, because the areas you're in are so big, it just takes so much time. So again, it just put everyone off wanting to do like co-op unless it was in a castle or this fortress. You know, it'd always just be, we couldn't just do it in like the fields or whatever. So it's definitely like a game where we've played it and then afterwards like our opinion on it has like soured over time.
Definitely.
And it's like you see, like I would struggle to go back and replay it again. Like maybe if it was like a co-op thing like we did or something, like maybe I could go back to it. But and again, like if they do DLC for it, I'll probably have to try and do a new game and play that through. But it's definitely one where it's just like compared to everything else that they've done, like I love FromSoft games. Like I love the Dark Souls games. Bloodborne is brilliant. Demon Souls is good as well, and Sekiro is like a great one. But it's just like Elden Ring, I can't really say, for me at least, it's like up to the same like caliber as the other ones, which is like a real shame because I know we were really looking forward to it as well, like our group of friends and everything.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a kind of deviation from the standard thing that they have been doing. So you could say that this is kind of like a prototype for their future games, because I think they said they're going to be more similar to this one than the past ones in future.
Yeah.
So as long as they use the criticisms that people have had from this, like especially regarding the co-op system, and they take that on board and kind of improve upon it, then the future games will probably be quite good.
Yeah, I think it's that like they need to sort of have like continuous co-op, I think, and then also like people did talk about it with Elden Ring, but like you do play it through and quite a lot of like enemies you fight or bosses are just like reskins of like previous ones. So you would have thought, especially like the dungeons again, which is something where they all felt the same. Like it didn't really feel different at all, apart from like maybe like a couple of them. So it's just like very repetitive going through, and you'd always feel, I wouldn't feel like a sense of joy like, oh, this dungeon's pretty cool, I want to explore this. It's always like, great, it's another grey dingy dungeon with this knight I have to fight at the end of it again. So it just like they need to sort of try and make more unique bosses, like because there's loads in Elden Ring, but the like actual terms of unique bosses who aren't reskins or copies of people you already fought in the game is like more than the unique ones. So it's just a real shame. But that's probably, again, not the worst game I've played, but like definitely the most, like, I don't even want to say like disappointing. It was just like, it was just sad that it wasn't like up to the standards I like wanted for it, basically.
Yeah, I agree. Did you have anything like, because obviously we've done, that's kind of our game that we've kind of been least satisfied with, I'd say.
Yeah.
What would you say about like films? Did you have a film that you kind of didn't enjoy?
That's the thing, it was such a mediocre year for films, and there were quite a few crap ones sprinkled in between.
All the films were just average, I think, because I was thinking, we watched Jurassic World, that was this year.
That was that would be my worst one.
That was so rubbish.
Yeah.
And then we watched Matilda, which was
we did,
a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
And then we watched Uncharted, that was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Last year, sorry.
Yeah.
And that was very average.
Wasn't as bad as I
love
thought.
Tom Holland, but
yeah.
But he wasn't right for that part, so that was a bit average. And you liked The Northman, didn't you? But I didn't like that. So
no.
That was you.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
It's just mad to think that it's like on Sky already. Like that's why I think sometimes because we have Sky,
is that
everything
Flex?
comes.
Is that Flex on Sky?
This is a sponsor from Sky.
Yeah, sponsored by the Sky Glass. So because everything comes out so quickly on Sky, I'm
true.
like, God, was that only this year? And it's like already I'm like watching it on my telly without having to pay anything. Do you know what I mean? That's what gets me.
Yeah, no, it's true. Jurassic World's definitely the worst film I've seen.
I do think that was. Did you watch that, Kieran?
I didn't. No.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Dodged a bullet there.
We went to the staff screening at our local cinema that we all used to work at, which is sort of, how I know you both.
Yeah.
But I stayed up late until the early hours of the morning to watch that film, and it wasn't good.
Yeah, it's definitely, the time, I don't like it when I'm watching a film and I'm like, I wonder what time it is. God, we've only been watching this for like an hour and it's still going on. But yeah, it just, nothing really was good for me. Like, there weren't enough dinosaur moments. There were too many just people talking. The old cast just seemed really ham-fisted into the film, like they didn't need to be there.
I just don't know why we have to keep making films where it's just the same thing. Like, why do we have to keep rebooting things and bringing things back? Why can't people just come up with new ideas?
Money.
Yeah, it's just...
But if they came up with a new idea, then they could start a new franchise and then make more money because,
well, they
just make money that way.
Yeah, but they kind of almost did, because I'd say Jurassic World was obviously... That's the best one out of the trilogy, because I didn't like the other two that they made. But it's like they tried that. Like, obviously, it's its own separate thing, really, because they didn't have many of the old characters in it. But then it's all the third one's like, our last film didn't do so good. We should probably try and bring back the old things that people do like, and we'll just bring back Jeff Goldblum, Sam Neill, and I've forgotten the other person's name.
The woman.
Ellie Sadler, if that's her name.
Don't know. Got
Okay,
no
you have
idea.
to fact check that.
That's the character's name, I'm pretty sure, is Ellie Sadler. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just building on existing ideas, and then trying to market nostalgia,
Yeah.
which is, you know, is something that is happening a lot these days. I mean, it's Nintendo's entire business model, just nostalgia.
Yeah.
But I feel like films, there's not really anything that's necessarily unique anymore. Like, I know we've had was it this year that Scorsese said that cinema doesn't exist anymore? Was that in the last couple of years?
He said Marvel. He said Marvel
it was
films
'cause
weren't
of Marvel,
cinema.
wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Because I mean, he's not wrong. Like the cinema isn't an experience like it was before,
No.
where you go to the cinema and you come out and you're like, wow, that was incredible.
I must see this at the cinema because
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah,
experience. It's just
Now
not
it's just kind of like a sea of mediocrity, and then when a good film comes along, it stands out so much because everything else
But I
is
think
so...
none of us have seen Maverick, have we?
Top Gun, no.
But
No,
I've not
which
watched the
apparently was-
original.
Yeah, but somebody said that, and I have to agree that Tom Cruise is like the only like movie star who's just like, he's got his issues, but he's just so passionate about making these crazy films and doing these crazy stunts. Like, we've just got to respect him for actually just churning it out, you know, and just carrying on. And apparently that's can't believe none of us have seen it yet. But
It's one of those films where everyone said how good it was, and I was speaking to someone about this the other day. It's almost like when someone tells you need to watch this, it's like, I don't want to watch it now.
so many people have told me it's good, I'm just never going to watch it.
No, it's not even like, oh no, I'm not going to watch it because it might be bad. It's just like, I can't be bothered to watch it. Sometimes it's just like, I'll take your word for it. Like, I think
exactly
it's good.
what you mean.
Yeah. But then sometimes you get scenarios where, because we saw Everything Everywhere All at Once as well last year. We managed to catch it on Amazon when it came to there, and that was the film everyone was saying it's the best film of the year, like this is brilliant, and we sort of watched it, and it had its had good qualities of it, but like not best film of the year for like.
I think I definitely enjoyed it more than you two did.
Yeah, I really didn't enjoy it. I don't know what kind of day I was having, but I really...
It is a bit more like quirky and like wacky and like things.
I feel, was that one of the films that ended and I was like, I would have preferred to have known what was happening, for somebody to explain to me what... Because I didn't know anything about the film apart from like multiverse stuff.
Yeah.
That's all I knew going in. I'd never even watched the trailer. I'd just heard about it. And I would have rather if somebody said to me, okay, it's about this, that and the other, there's this girl in it. Somebody who'd already seen it to like explain it to me. And then I would have
get you.
What was the other film that we watched? And I was like, I would have enjoyed it much more if you'd have just told me the ending.
I don't know.
I can't remember what it was, but that's the big thing for me. Like, there's certain things that I don't want spoiled for me, but I don't mind getting things spoiled because then I can just relax when I'm watching it.
We watched Inception, didn't we? And we had the Wikipedia plot open as we were watching it because it was a bit like because there's so much stuff going on. It's sort of like, what's going on? Oh, well, they're here, so this means this is happening now.
Yeah.
But no, I get you. Yeah, I do get you.
Yeah, I would like to say on the record, I do not do that. I like to enjoy my movies blind.
Yeah, I'm very opposite. Like, if anybody says to me, "Oh, so what happens?" then I'll happily just tell that person. Like, I feel like I do it with my mum. She'll like text me like, "Oh, there's such and such die in this film," and I'll be like, "No, don't worry." Whereas actually normal people would go, "Well, I'm not going to tell you. You just have to." But every time I say, "Oh, well, you just have to watch it," Michael, for example, will go, "Oh, well, that means it happens then," or you'll just guess by my response, because we've been doing that with Happy Valley, haven't we?
Yes, you got me into watching that.
Yeah.
So, speaking on Happy Valley, let's move over to television. Because to be fair, there wasn't a bad television show I think I watched this year either.
We've spent so much time, I've spent so much time watching YouTube, like watching like YouTube like vlogs. And you've been spending so much time gaming, like you'll game and I'll watch my vlogs. That we've not actually watched. I've just watched Friends again.
And then obviously the compulsory 8 weeks you have to sing to Love Island or however long it was.
That's a big chunk of life.
Yeah.
Which we're not going to do for the winter version, are we? Because I don't think
it's only next week, isn't it?
Yeah, but I can't commit myself to it this time. I can't commit to every day at 9 o'clock. I've got to. Yeah. You know, sometimes I like to be in bed.
Yeah, but no, yeah. So in terms of TV, not really got much to say. Like we haven't, because
No.
I feel like in previous years, like before 2022, there were a couple of programs we watched where it was like that was like not crap, but like we had a couple of Sky programs which the endings were rubbish because it was like The Undoing and then Mayor of Easttown. Like I really didn't like the endings of those. So those were only like sort of disappointing, like, oh, come on. Like it was so good up until that point, like what happened. But yeah, in terms of TV, not really been much because we all watched Stranger Things, we all watched The Boys, House of the Dragon. Me and Tulip watched This Is Going to Hurt. I don't know if you heard about that one.
Nope. Based in the hospital.
Yeah, it's based in like basically NHS
maternity ward.
Maternity ward.
I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, Love Island, Pam and Tommy as well on Disney+.
Yeah, we did watch that, which was... I feel like we did enjoy that.
That was all right. Yeah. It peaks and troughs, I think. Like some episodes were good.
Like
some
the first
were...
episode was just so rubbish. We were like, we're not even going to watch anymore. Like, why did it start with just Seth Rogen's character going about? Like, where's Pam and Tom? Like, I only want to see what Lily James looks like as Pamela Anderson. Why is that not the first thing that's hitting my screen?
So yeah. But no, I think that's a good place to sort of leave it there. But...
I think a good place to leave it is 2022 was a very average year for all entertainment. I would say not really a lot happened. There wasn't anything that was amazing, but there's been a few, peaks.
Yeah, and I hope this year like gives us like a lot more like things to sort of look forward to or enjoy watching. Obviously, we've got The Last of Us TV show starts. Well, that's the time of recording. It will be this Sunday actually. So Sunday. So that'll be good to watch. And then there's no films I can think off the top of my head that are coming out that I'd actually want to watch.
We need to watch Avatar 2, but
Babylon's coming out. So
the one
supposed to be good.
With Margot Robbie,
and there's
Barbie,
Empire of Light,
Barbie,
which is soon. That's with Olivia Colman.
Oh, we do like her.
Yeah,
we do like Olivia Colman.
As for the rest of the year, I don't know.
Your mum told me Ant-Man comes out after my birthday, so they.
Yes, my mum did send me the Ant-Man trailer because she loves Ant-Man. That's her favourite superhero.
And then I guess in terms of games, really, it's just Spider-Man 2, which is not until autumn, so a big wait on that.
The Hogwarts game.
Well, yeah, could be good.
Well,
that remains to be seen. But yeah, who knows? We could be doing a podcast episode about that at some point.
You never know.
How amazing / awful it is.
Yeah.
You'll have to wait and see, and stay tuned.
Yeah, so thank you very much, everyone, for tuning into the first episode of the Cinematic Trinity. I've been Michael.
I've been Tulip.
I've been Kieran.
And catch you in the next episode. Woo!